The running back class in the 2025 NFL Draft is loaded, but Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty is in a tier all his own. When you combine incredible contact balance that needs to be seen to be believed, a penchant for breaking tackles anytime he touches the ball, no matter the opponent, not to mention a vicious stiff arm that defensive linemen, linebackers, and DBs do not want to see, add in the impressive processing skills, the lateral quickness, and the incredible burst to turn any run into a house call, Ashton Jeanty is the complete package. And when you look at the stats, it's even more impressive. He had 41 total touchdowns as a senior in high school, 1,800 rushing yards, 800 receiving yards, and in college, the dominance continued. 2023 season was great. The 2024 season was even better. You look at almost 2,600 rushing yards, 29 rushing touchdowns, almost 7 yards a carry, 5.25 yards after contact per attempt, a whopping 151 missed tackles forced, and 120 first downs. Not to mention, if you took Jeanty's rushing yards after contact, it still would have led the nation in rushing. Not to mention, over his career, he's been very scheme versatile in terms of gap running and zone running. But yes, the fumbles are something to watch. Now, when you look at three really interesting metrics with Jeanty versus other top running back prospects, you look at missed tackle forced percentage, you look at yards after contact per attempt, and you look at yards per route run as a receiver, Jeanty stacks up really, really well to the rest of these top running back prospects that go back several years. So when the film comes on for Ashton Jeanty, you see a lot of what you hope to see, right? When he gets a chance to erase angles and he gets a big-time crease, he has the ability at all times to make it a house call because of the impressive burst, because of the stamina that he can keep on these long runs. And not to mention, there are many of these long runs, like this one in particular against Georgia Southern, where Jeanty has to force a couple missed tackles on his way to finishing that run. And that's something that I think you see from him a lot as well. Here, an initial spin, then sees that there's a cutback lane, and again, makes a couple guys miss in order to finish that run for a touchdown. Guys could be winded, right, late in a football game like this. But with Jeanty, what he does, really nice job pressing the line of scrimmage, gets this defender off balance initially, impressive stiff arm there to force that missed tackle, another good stiff arm in space, really nice job cutting back there to avoid one more guy, and then this is the kicker right here. Stiff arm gets swatted down, and the defender's going to wrap him up, but watch Jeanty use the momentum to get himself back going north-south, and that momentum plus him sticking his hand on the ground in really, really good body control and balance helps him finish that run for just an insane touchdown. And you're going to get a lot of this with Jeanty, especially against the top competition where he gets contacted behind the line of scrimmage, stiff arm, he's able to force the missed tackle, and then you see him just, again, exceptional control and balance where he takes that big hit and then is able to accelerate off of it and generate an explosive play. Now, this one against Washington State is going to look really similar. Really good footwork to start with. Look at him reduce the surface area, make it much harder for the defender to tackle him initially, and then drop the pads, stay low, and again, get bounced out, but then use that to create, a massive, massive play and score off of it because of his impressive burst and acceleration in short spaces, not to mention the tackle breaking ability. And here, defender meets him in a gap, and he just bounces off. Good stiff arm, wins the corner, and you get an explosive play out of something that looked like he was just going to get stood up for nothing. Same thing here. Again, really great footwork to make a couple guys miss, and then he can just, keep the legs going. And again, even with multiple defenders draped on him, he is carrying guys, and creating more yards after contact with two defenders, right? And so a lot of people turn to this Penn State game and they were like, well, Jeanty didn't play very well. Boy, I don't know, okay? Drop the pads, stay low, keep churning through contact. Does a really nice job, by the way, covering his other hand there to prevent fumbles. Yes, he did fumble a couple times in this game, but that's really nice. Look at him stay low through contact, bounce off that last defender. I mean, goodness sakes, like this one, this is something else, right? Big time collision and just bounces off a guy, generates, 3-4 yards more after that. And again, you see him finish runs against Oregon here. Spins off a couple tacklers and finishes the run. Like he really does a phenomenal job with contact balance. You see him arrive at contact right here. Okay, this is a good spot to be tackling him, right? You wrap him low, then you kind of either get one of his feet to kind of tie him up. That's how you're going to have to tackle Jeanty. But the way he arrives at contact lets him shake off would-be tacklers pretty easily. And so you get a lot of that. Again, he'll run through the arm tackles because he's got great lower body strength. And then to just absorb a hit like that, he gets tripped up. But you see him put that hand down twice to keep balance, 2 times to get several yards more after that last tackle attempt. Here, a really good job with patience, something we're going to cover a little bit later. But he waits for this blocker to get to that second level. Then you've got the burst. And then, again, great arrival at contact against the defensive back, able to pop up quickly, and generate 8 to 10 more yards after that pretty good tackle attempt. This is tough. You don't want to meet him one-on-one, especially as a safety. That's tough. That's tough for the guy there out of Nevada. But again, it just shows you how impressive the contact balance is. And here, big-time collision in this San Jose State game. But watch this. After that hit, look at the hand down and the ability to accelerate off of that, get forward for a couple more yards. Just radically good contact balance. It is truly impressive to watch. Once again, the backside DN doesn't have him, shrugs off a couple more, and just the will and the lower body strength to somehow finish that run, and he scores on it. Right? Like, this is really, really good stuff from what should be an elite running back prospect. Now, again, footwork in transition, right? Look at that. Sink the hips and a vertical cut up the field. Like, that is not an easy play to make, but boy, he made that look easy. And that's kind of like that vertical cut, that vertical transition. That's how you can get skinny in a crease as well. And you see that. Now, again, we talk about this first man miss, right? Guys getting in the backfield. This is Oregon State, a Power 4 opponent. And Jeanty just does a great job making the first man miss and then also winning the corner for an explosive run. And again, wicked spin move there. And you get a 10 yards out of it. Now, a lot of people look at that, you watch him arrive at contact. You'd like to see him make more defenders miss, right? You don't want to see him necessarily take that kind of battering in the secondary. You'd like to see more lateral quicks. He has them. Whoops. Like, excuse me? What are we doing here? This is phenomenal. Insane lateral quicks and agility there. And he still has that. Look at how quick that transition was against Penn State, again, where he apparently just didn't have a good game. It wasn't his best, but like, that is a sick move to turn a potential, loss or no gain into like 8-9 yards very, very quickly. And again, really good footwork, and then the vision, right? Leverage defender, leverage defender, leverage defender, peek backside, and you're off to the races for a score. I think it came back as a penalty, but you see the vision too, right? He has a great job of seeing like gap, gap, gap. I need to cut this back. And he does so, right? That ability to immediately sense where cutback lanes are going to be is huge for him at the next level. Here's another good one, right? Big hole to run through here initially, and what you're going to get is obviously safety coming downhill, another DB coming downhill, and then there's another one off screen here who's going to come into play. Jeanty quickly peeks to this leverage to say, okay, I've got a lane here if I want to take it, right? And doesn't have to meet that downhill safety right away. So just really, really impressive vision. And here, I think, is a really nice example of how quickly he can process and react. Ideally, this guy's getting out here to this gap so he can turn Jeanty back inside to where he's got help. He doesn't. He stays in this gap, and Jeanty's reaction skills, quick feet, quick processing skill set, makes sure he gets into the right gap and creates a big play. And this is a really, really nuanced one. It's often hard to see. But watch Jeanty stay square. What he's doing is he wants this linebacker to get blocked on this combo here, right? You have a great block on this side of the run, but he wants this lineman to get up to the second level. There's a jab step here. It's hard to see, but you can see the shoulders and head faking this direction. It freezes the linebacker. thinking, okay, I need to stand up to this offensive lineman. Nope, Jeanty found a crease. He knew he was going to attack there. Really, really good second level linebacker manipulation. Once again, a quick look to the backside, knows where he has a gap, and then we're going to make a defender miss in space. Tremendous, tremendous stuff. Now, patience. Can you let blocks develop in front of you? Right? Look at the stagger, the little shuffle here. Make sure this lineman gets up to this defender, and then he knows he's got the angle and he can beat that last defensive back to the end zone. Here, another great look at it, right? You see him staggering the footwork. He wants to see where this block ends up. He wants to see this defender commit. Defender commits. Okay, perfect. I will take this lane then. Really, really good stuff. And here, kind of gets caught up a little bit, right? A little bit of disruption at the point of attack. But he sees that this defender is getting blocked, stayed patient to it, and I can win the corner with a good stiff arm, as he often does, right? That's who he is. And here's a really good one of like initially like peeking backside on this run, but he's never going to take it, right? He's peeking backside, linebackers working over to take that away. And what that's going to do is let these blocks develop, let the seal and let a hole open up. Not to mention this lineman is going to work up here, take number 2 out of the play, and Jeanty's got an easy crease to run through. And as a receiver, you didn't really see a lot of this in 24, unfortunately. Had a big 2023 in terms of yards per route run, but he's a natural hands catcher. And then, of course, right, you can dump it to him in the flat, and he's going to make 3 guys miss and get that type of yardage. But you see him make natural adjustments to the football. If it's behind him, use that to turn it into more momentum upfield. And again, make guys miss because he does. It's a full-time job for him. Pass protection. He's aggressive, but he's got a good base, right? Really clean reps in pass protection for him, and that's something that if you want to be an elite 3-down back, you need to do it. Really nice job here. Get a defender up in the air. 2 really clean reps against Oregon, and here against Washington State, similar thing. Picking up the guy on the outside, drive him away from the play, no problem. Step into the gap here and help take care of number 7, no problem for Ashton Jeanty. So when you look at Ashton Jeanty, you should be putting him up there with the elite 3-down running back prospects that you have at the top of your rankings. They're obviously going to differ person to person, but you look at the Bijan Robinsons, right? You look at the McCaffreys and the Mixons, right? And the Fournettes and the Barkleys and the Elliots, all of these guys, the Jonathan Taylors. He's up there with all of them, and he should be. It doesn't mean he's necessarily the best running back prospect in the last decade, but he is firmly in that conversation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this film room on Ashton Jeanty. If you did, throw a like down there, subscribe if you're new. Plenty more draft content on the way very, very soon. I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.